So yeah, it's predicted that 2027 there's going to be a type of aerial phenomenon. And to start off, what that really is, we'd have to start off with talking about plasma. Plasma has already presented to us here on Earth all types of signs that are going on right now in the physical. And plasma is actually very real. It's considered the fourth state of matter. So you know that the three traditional matters that you were taught in elementary school were solids, liquid, and gas. But there's now been added on the fourth matter, which is plasma. Plasma that, if it is in you and I, it's within the lifeline of each human being, and that's within your blood. Matter is anything in the universe that has mass. Mass is substance or weight, and takes up space, or takes up volume, forming all physical things like solids, liquids, gases, and plasma. It's built from fundamental particles like atoms, quarks, and electrons. It's the stuff that everything is made of, from rocks and water to air, but it excludes massless energy or wave-like light. And this is all according to the National Geographic Society. Okay, quickly, what is plasma? Plasma is called the fourth state of matter. It's an ionized gas with other unique properties. It consists of free electrons, positive ions, and it makes it electrically conductive and responsive to magnetic fields. Well, who exists in magnetic fields? You and I, humans. We exist in a magnetic atmosphere. It even challenges the very notion of gravity. And so it makes up the most visible universe. It's found in stars, it's found in lightning, and it's even used in our technology like plasma TVs and in our medicines when you don't need plasma. So getting to our plasma within ourselves as human beings is really easy. One of my former jobs in the past was a non-clinical research assistant job. And I used to have to collect blood and take it back to the lab and separate it. So there's three parts to your blood. There is the actual red platelet blood that you see, which is really not red. But then there is also the plasma, which is the yellow stuff that you see. And then in between is the little buffy coat. And that's almost like a conductor that helps for the blood and the plasma to flow smoothly together throughout your veins. That plasma helps to contribute towards giving medicines, creating medicines, and it is our life form. Without the plasma, the blood could not conduct itself. First, let's talk about an already discussed aerial phenomenon that has already been marked on like the almanacs and other space community forums. And it's called the total solar eclipse of August 2nd, 2027. This one is supposed to be an eclipse that is different than any other eclipse because it says that the primary upcoming astronomical event prominently features a natural plasma phenomenon. Now, this one it says the atmosphere will consist of super hot 2 million degree plasma. That's a very extreme amount of plasma and energy. And remember, plasma is really connected to magnetic energy. So the other aerial phenomenon that they're looking at as well is that many people in the scientific community say that we're supposed to be actually contacted, or they're going to make contact here on planet Earth. And these things are actually plasma beings. And so orbs and even the stars that are appearing. We're starting to see how stars really act in its natural behavior. They're like glowing beams. They're not just these little still stars that just do nothing. They're actual beings on their own, and it's complete plasma. So it's very, very strange. Let's look at what some of these other professionals are saying about it. Let's dig deeper. Plasmoids.
What do you believe UAPs be or are? Meaning unidentified aerial phenomena. This man, strong evidence that they are non-human intelligence, higher intelligence. Man agreed. This man said, I do not know. You know what I think they are? Or know they are? Plasma. So go look up these articles. They'll tell you all about it, but I have something better. I have a theory that plasma is a vehicle for consciousness. This would mean that these plasmoids are simply carrying the consciousness of these higher intelligent beings. So, a couple things. These plasmoids are intelligent on their own, like an animal, but they can also carry consciousness, which has its own separate intelligence. Think of it as riding a horse. A human riding a horse. Sorry, that was so cringy. Now, doesn't this mythology seem more realistic? They're riding animals. Interesting. One theory I have is that the consciousness is bilocating. They are wherever they are, and they're also here remote viewing us. The plasma would even make it possible for them to communicate with us and also hear us and receive signals. The plasma simply connects their consciousness to our dimension or reality or world. This has to do with quantum non-locality. Basically, the plasma allows consciousness to transcend the laws of classical physics by instantaneous communication across time and space. Now the question is, if we learn to bilocate, will we one day be able to do this? Yes. Astral projection.
The drones are studying plasmoids. So this is a theory that's being thrown around everywhere right now. These drones that are ours are being seen near these strange orbs, and people are calling them plasmoids. So what is a plasmoid? Now, the study of this phenomena has been going on for decades, but the current definition is that a plasmoid is a coherent toroidal structure of plasma in magnetic fields. And these things are a natural phenomena seen all over the world, but they seem to be showing up in tandem with all of these drones. And it's probably what Foo Fighters and ghost rockets were back in the 1940s that pilots reported. Plasmoids have been observed around the sun, in the sky, but can also be created in the lab. Think something like ball lightning. They can appear as orbs or elongated cylinders, kind of like a lot of the UAPs or UFOs that have been reported for decades to centuries. If able to be understood and harnessed, they could actually provide applications for fusion research or even space travel. And these plasmoids are said to be capable of absorbing, storing, and releasing large amounts of energy and, in effect, functioning as a kind of self-charging atomic battery. They've been seen zipping around at high speeds, changing direction on a dime. They can shapeshift and appear to have transmedium travel capabilities, so they can go into the air, space, or into water. And the strangest thing is, they appear to be sentient, but that's impossible for them to have sentience, right? Well, consider this new article from the Journal of Modern Physics, and I'm not sure if this is peer-reviewed, and also don't take my word for it, I'm not a physicist, and always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. But in this article, they reference video and photographic evidence during NASA shuttle missions, encounters on the Mir space station and the ISS, as well as with the United States Navy and Customs and Border Protection encountering and dealing with these plasmoid UAPs. They've been known to chase, harass, and toy with our aircraft and seem to have properties that can have negative effects on electronics. They can pass through solid objects like glass, metal, and have been seen splitting into additional plasmoids and sometimes seem to affect people's mental activity. And some of the scientists from this paper suggest that they could represent a fourth domain of life. Now, the question is, did these escape from a lab somewhere like the one in Princeton, New Jersey? Or is there really a non-human intelligence behind all of this?
Don't move a muscle. You're gonna love this, guys. To anyone in the UFO community who's been frustrated, here's the news we've all been waiting for, now confirmed, that many of us knew in the UFO community or the scientific community, plasma is alive. It is sentient, it is intelligent, it is capable of communication. For the first time, peer-reviewed data, NASA mission footage, and leading-edge physics, all coming together, have pointed to a stunning conclusion. Plasma, the fourth state of matter, is a form of non-biological life which observes, reacts, and makes decision. It is no longer science fiction, it is now science fact. It is a life form found in the thermosphere over 200 miles above Earth. It has been filmed by 10 different NASA missions, STS-48, STS-123. These plasma entities are not just lights in the sky. They change direction instantly. They accelerate, they hover, they group, they stalk, and they interact as we know. They've been observed engaging in what scientists now describe as hunter predatory behavior, following targeting and even colliding with one another in coordinated energy exchanges. The world is catching up with what the UFO community have long been screaming about.
I'm not into the alien community. No shade. However, I do believe that the things that are appearing to us are not uncommon if you are someone who has studied theology over the years. You have a grasp that there is both a scientific explanation for these things that are going on, but there's also a theological explanation for these things that are going on. And I think that in these upcoming years, even with our politics, things that have been biblically prophesied, if you're a theologian, if you study the Holy Bible, and you also study science, you have a great understanding that events, timings, physical things that we can see with our eyes and touch with our actual hands and actually process mentally, these things that are like real, you know that this is all a part of an evolution that's much bigger than what Darwin had suggested hundreds of years ago. What has been written in biblical text is now coming to fruition. Things that were foreshadowed, spoken about, prophesied, foretold, they are now playing in real time between our politics, our science, and just where we are at as humanity. I see certain things that are really related to things that happened in the Bible. Like a lot of times these orbs are appearing in 3. And there's like countless documentation, recordings that are backed by the science community. They come in 3. I know one thing, and that is in the Holy Bible, there is the story of when God appeared to Abram, who was married to Sarah, and they came in as 3. It was him and it was 2 others. 2 other beings that appeared, and they were angels. And they came and they talked to Abraham. Further on in the Bible text, it also tells you to be aware that you may be entertaining angels unknowingly. So always be on your guard. The Bible is always telling us that there is a firmament that was created that was able to encapsulate humanity, the atmosphere, the waters, all for it to flow in a coordinated motion. And I really believe that plasma, has a part of the atmosphere and that firmament. And actually, there are individuals that the biblical hermeneutics, and they also have an inkling that plasma and the firmament are all connected. And anything that is able to connect with each other, whether it be UAP or whether it be human, that we're able to do all of these things within this atmosphere because of the plasma. It's really, really interesting. I'm not a professional, so I can't go to too much detail, but that's what I really believe. I'm like on their side, these professionals that talked about the existing of plasma and the orbs and what they've been studying for years. There are two other events in the Bible that I want to mention that I think possibly took plasma to occur, and they have appeared, according to the writing in the Bible, in the text, as if they could be UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenons. And that is one, the Mount of Transfiguration, when Jesus appeared with two other figures in front of his disciples weeks before his crucifixion. And then the other is when Moses was given an opportunity for God to show him his hind parts, just the back of like his presence. He had an out of body experience and an in the physical experience, because it's noted that when he had this experience, his skin turned pale white, like albino. So this is something that is not too foreign to think about, and for you to be able to go in between these realms, I think that it does take that fourth state of matter, which is plasma. Yeah, all of this is coming into fruition. Now, I think that is going to lead to an even bigger event, because in the ending of the Bible, it talks about two beings coming back to earth, and those are supposed to be the prophet Elijah and Enoch. Both of these individuals in the Holy Bible never succumbed to a natural death. They were taken up. Again, they were taken up. Taken up by what? And it's prophesied that they're going to come back. Are they also a part of these UAPs? How were they able to be taken up from one atmosphere outside of the firmament? There's so many raging questions. Let me know what you think. I just wanted to share this piece because I love science, and I just wanted to bring awareness of what's going on. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you down in the comment section.